Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes. So I'm back with another dope video. This is a dope video, dope content for you and I. This is going to really be really good. This is part two, right, of that life that took many of us to the afterlife and put many of us in that afterlife, living that life. Yes, this is going to be really good for us. So this is part two. It's going to be a little different, right? And like I said, I'm not beefing with nobody on these major platforms. I'm not beefing with nobody here. I don't have, yeah, that's an actual fact. But it's to bring awareness, spirituality, spiritual focus, spiritual guidance, and spiritual information for us through knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, which is come directly from the Alpha Omega, the creator and everything in existence. This is an actual fact. And on here right now, and on my platform and on my channel, this is what you get. This is one of the dopest and amazing channels that do what? That hit different topics. We hit different topics because our topics come from a spiritual sense, a spiritual realm, right? And it comes strictly from the Alpha Omega, the creator and everything in existence. Without him, I won't be able to do anything. I won't be able to bring no topics to you. I won't be able to bring no information for you. I won't be able to bring anything for you without him allowing me to bring any information to you. This is an actual fact. To sit up here to have experience, knowledge, wisdom, standing, and experience, right? It's a blessing for me that he blessed me to wake up each and every day where that I have motion and movement, and also bless me with a little bit of insight of spirituality. I am the interpreter. I am the interpreter. I am the interpreter, right? And I'm gonna keep it real with you. This goes out to all of the YouTubers that's on YouTube. Since I've been on YouTube, I've been seeing a lot of things, right? People crashing out, people going at each other, people threatening each other, so forth, so on. And majority of this stuff has to do with the indigenous descendants of Abel. And we over here fighting over, not crumbs, but fighting over these certain things on these major platforms, which do what? Which, when you do certain things like that, it becomes entertainment. It becomes like soap operas, right? It becomes like soap operas on here, right? So people looking for certain things. They looking for people to crash out. They looking for people to go to jail. They looking for people to fight each other. They looking for all these type of things, which is plaguing our community each and every day. This is an actual true fact, right? So, with that being said, right? With that being said, we need to do better. We need to do better as the indigenous descendants of Abel. Peace and blessings be upon him. See, I wanted you to say Abel. I wanted you to say Abel. Because without Abel, we would not be here. Without him standing on business, without him standing on loyalty, without him standing on respect, and upholding the Alpha Omega, the creator and everything in existence, Abel descendants would not be here. And Abel descendants are all spread all around the world. All through this earth, Abel descendants is an actually true fact. And separation has, and ignorance and lack of knowledge, lack of teachers and guidance has separated us. And this is exactly what this enemy does. It separates us. Us pointing the finger, us fighting at each other. This is an actual true fact, and I want us to understand that. But what is this topic about? This topic is about, this is part two. This sick, barbaric, devil, demon way of life have took many of us to the afterlife. This is part two. It took many of us and put many of us in the afterlife. This is an actual fact. This is part two. Let's get right into this. So, on YouTube, There is lanes for everything. There are lanes for everything. There's celebrity gossip lanes that somebody can talk about celebrity gossip, right? There are a lane for spirituality. There's a lane for spirituality. There's a lane of talking about the Quran. There's a lane that's talking about the Bible. There's a lane that's talking about these jails and prisons and how to stay out of these jails and prisons. You understand what I'm saying? Talking about everything else that's on these platforms. But specifically, I want to talk about these prison stories and these jail stories and these why me pen stories, right? And being up north, being on Rikers Island, being in the federal penitentiary, right? These concentration camps and prisons and jails. And that's exactly what this is. Plantations to house people, and you become somebody bad, and they get 80 grand for individuals that be there for a whole year. This is an actual fact that people that invest in these private jails, it's an actual fact. They get millions of dollars. That's right. So, crime and doing these certain things, big business. We know that. There are certain brothers that's on here, they give their point of view on what they've been through. They give their point of view on what they've been through, right? Whether it's going through things in the streets, winding up in prison, and they constantly talk about the things that they experienced in prison, right? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. If your content is focusing on these plantations and these prisons and these jails that took many of us, right, and turned us into slaves, turned us into criminals, turned us into felons and everything else, right? And you are here to bring knowledge, wisdom, understanding with experience to deter us from that and the youth from that by all means. By all means. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't really care about what individual you're talking about. If you bringing this knowledge and understanding, you're talking about when people was in there, they was fighting each other and stuff like that or whatever. You are teaching the youth, right? And you are teaching your viewers that this life is not a good life to live. Stay out of here. See, that's the message. That is the message. We don't glorify these places. We don't glorify these places because these places take many of us where there are dark path where that when you enter these places, you wind up with no jobs. These are strike against you. You can't have these jobs, right? Unless you get yourself right. So there's nothing wrong with talking about these prison stories and jail stories, right? But it must be what? It must be a meaning behind it. It must be a solution behind it, right? And when you are talking about these prison stories, and that's just anybody. That's just anybody, right? That's focusing on talking about these plantations and jails. You have to talk about these plantations and jails, right? Like saying that they are setups. They plantations. And they house what? They house so many people. And each person, they get $80,000 for each person that entered these places. Whether it be women or men. Women and men. But they go hard on men. Right? And you have to break it down in a sense and tell everybody who they focusing on. Who are they focusing on, right? There's nothing talking about these prison stories and talking about what leads up going to prison. There's nothing wrong with that. I support that. But I don't support glorifying this. Glorifying of stabbing and killing and hurting one another and banging on one another. You understand? I don't glorify that. So these things need to be talked about after every upload, and after every video that you put out there, anybody that's talking about this, there must be a message behind you talking about this really, really dark path and violent path that is among us, that is among the urban communities, our communities all around the world. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't have a problem with you telling these stories. I don't. Long as there is a meaning behind it, long as there is a meaning and information and guidance to stay out of these places. Because with your experience, and anybody that experiences, including me, that will help deter the youth and our children and our sons and daughters to stay out of these places. Right? Yeah. You don't need to go to jail and become somebody bad. 80 grand. You can make 80 grand out here. You can make 80 grand. Anywhere from 80 to 200 grand a year. That's right. Once you apply yourself. So these stories is needed. There's a lane for that. There's a lane. There's a lane for that. That's right. There's a lane for that. You know, so, but keep doing your stories. Keep doing your prison stories. Keep talking about these things. You know, and show the truth. Show the truth about it. Show how it damaged the lives of your life, of your family life, your children and your loved ones. Show it. But just don't uplift it. You understand what I'm saying? That's the whole thing. To uplift it and glorify it, that's no good. It's not a good look. So, but there's lanes for everything. Like I said, I come from a spiritual lane. This is my lane. Spirituality mixed in with experience of dealing with the things that you talk about, what anybody talk about. That tried those shoes, tried just about every shoe, right? But I don't get into all of it. I talk about spirituality. There's always a backstory. Sometimes we don't want to focus on that. We want to put that in the past. But there are those that we need that's on YouTube that have a major platform and they have followers, right? We need for you to talk about that and talk about the experience. We need that. But also in the same token, we need you to do what? To deter the children in the future away from this. To say that's not a good look. This happened to me, that happened to me. You can tell a million stories. Become a master at it. You already got your audience. You already got your followers. Become a master at that. That nobody cannot touch that. So, keep up the good work. That's what I can say. Keep up the good work. And we like your work. We like your platform. But we want to hear more about doing these sick, barbaric acts where it can lead you up to. What can happen to you in prison and outside of prison. And we all know that people that went out, they went in and came out and they did not make it. A lot of individuals are in the grave. So we want to hear about that also. You understand what I'm saying? That individuals that was banging really hard, that was doing these certain things, we would like to hear that. So just don't tell prison stories, but also tell, may the Creator have mercy on their soul. The demise and the setup and the backdoor of these individuals are practicing this way of life, which took many of us, and it don't work. So this is what we need to hear from you also. And it will also boost your channel up. Anybody that's talking about prison, anybody that they content is talking about prison, fighting, people being cut, stabbed up, and all these other things, and you dealing with your experience of dealing with this stuff like that. Also, tell about things that did not work. So this is part 2 of that life that put many of us in the afterlife. Many good brothers that couldn't figure out this sick, barbaric, devil, demon mindset way of life that was setting us up. This is what we need to hear amongst us. And this is really, really important for us, right? To spread amongst the youth, which is really, really important, man. Yes, this is really, really important for us. And I need for us to understand that, because you know why I need for us to understand that? Because if we don't understand that, we will keep spinning the block, falling into these traps, falling into these traps, falling into these traps, falling into these traps. So this is part 2 of living this sick, barbaric, devil way of life that put many of us in the afterlife, and we no longer here, you know, of living this life. So there's a lane, like I said, there's a lane for everything. There's a lane for spirituality. There's a lane for people that crash out on here. There's a lane for people that like to drink and smoke on their podcast. This is true. There's a lane for individuals that talk about celebrity gossip. There's a lane for people that talk about spirituality, the Quran, right? Christianity, the Quran, the Bible, the Torah, and all of these certain things that talk about the indigenous descendant history. There's a lane. There's a lane for all of that. These are lanes. You pick and choose where you fit in at, and you keep hammering on it. You keep hammering on it, and you keep hammering on it. You find you find your way. You find your way. You find the lane that suits you. And then once you find the lane that suits you, you master that. You master that. With knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, with experience. And you focus on that. You become the best of the best in that lane. This is actually true fact. And I don't have a problem with people talking about prison stories. But what I do have a problem with, when we glorify it, when we glorifying it, when we uplifting this system to put it on the next generation, to say it's okay to do crime and enter these plantations and become slaves. That's where it gets a little weird to me. You understand what I'm saying? So we don't want to make it seem like we institutionalize. We keep talking about that. Make it make sense. You know, the last part of it, you tell your audience, I don't recommend nobody to go through what I've been through. Trust you me. It was a blessing that I made it out of there. It was a blessing by the Alpha Almighty. Whether you want to believe it or not, He blessed you to come out to be the example. The actual true fact with all of us. So this is really, really important. So this is part 2 of that life that I was talking about, that took many of us to the afterlife and put many of us in the afterlife. Some good brothers, man, that just couldn't shake it. That could not shake it off them. That's right. So may the Creator have mercy on their soul. And it's Fish Friday. Your guys have Fish Friday. Peace, y'all. Peace, 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 peace.